Well, welcome back to Granbury TV, everybody. It's time for our weekly Fire Marshal report. How are you doing?
Doing great. Doing good.
How has the week been?
Actually, the week has been not horribly bad, but we had a couple fires this week that we've been fortunate. We haven't had a lot of structure fires over the last couple months, and this week we ended up having two. Now, the fortunate side of it was one of them was a rental property that was vacant, so nobody was displaced and all that, and then the other one was a RV that was kind of being used as a guest house when people come in from out of town and stuff like that.
Right.
That one, the first one, the vacant rental home, that was in Toller, and it was a complete loss. But it was one of those things that the fire itself, the way the house was built, it was the old shiplap on the inside, and then they'd done block wall, and then done rock on the outside. So basically made it an oven. Yeah. And so that was, by the time we even got there, it was something that was, so a lot of damage to it. Yeah. And then the other one, the RV fire, that one had us a little bit nervous because it was close to it was close to a mobile home, caused a little bit of scorching on the mobile home. It was in an area that there was a lot more brush and stuff. So we actually sent the cavalry down there on that one because we really thought it was going to end up, getting 2 or 3 homes out of it. And
right.
Fortunately, neighbors and the people that lived there were actually put a lot of water on the mobile home, kept the damage to minimum on it, and kind of really kept it contained, just the RV itself. So in the long run, everything's been good. Nobody's been hurt. Nobody's been displaced. Yeah. So even though we had a couple fires, it was relatively minor as far as the impact on everybody. So, which is fortunate.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, this weather's like perfect now, right? I mean, humidity wise, I mean, we're not there, right? But we still need to watch for the burn, like if we're doing burns, right?
Right. Right now it's our big issue has been we've had a couple days where the winds have been up, but as far as the fuel conditions, right now they're kind of in a really good place where they're we're seeing a lot of green up. I mean, it's we're in early spring for sure. Yeah. We've had enough rain to where it's promoted the growth and all that stuff. One of the big issues that we're having is stay with your controlled burns. We've had some people that have left their controlled burns, have kind of gotten away from them. That's been one of the issues. The other thing is remember what you can and can't burn. The state of Texas says you can only burn brush. Right. And the brush has to be generated on the property that it's being burned on. Right. So you can't have a tree service and bring it into your property and burn it. Right. You can't burn household trash. You can't burn down your old mobile home that you want to get rid of. Believe it or not, we get phone calls with that. And that's one of the things. And there's there's some other things in the law as far as doing the controlled burns. You can't burn within 300 feet of a structure that's not on your property. You can't burn after dark. You can't burn when the winds are over 26 miles an hour. Some different stuff like that. It's all on our website. We still ask that people do the burn notification. Let us know you're doing a controlled burn. If the wind conditions are going to be unacceptable, we'll let you know when you call in and say, you know what, today's not a good day. Can you hold off till tomorrow? I think the biggest complaint we've been getting lately has been people burning stuff they're not supposed to. Yeah. And just if it's, as one of my deputies says, if you can grow it on your land, you can cut it off your land, you can burn it on your land. And if you stick with those rules, then we'll come out. If somebody calls, we'll come out there and everything's fine and have a nice day. Yeah. If you're not doing that, then it may end up where you get an invitation to go talk to the judge.
Yeah. And that's not an invitation that you would like to have.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not for a party.
Yeah. So what else is going on? Any?
We had a meeting last week that was really interesting. It was Texas Forestry, and then we got all the fire marshals and emergency management coordinators for the region together and kind of discussed what happened last year was unusual. Right. But how can we prepare for it for this year? Last year, because there were so many big fires going on, there were several times where pretty much we were left on our own. We didn't have the the state support or forestry support because they were in Palapino or PK or down in Bastrop or something like that. So the resources weren't there, and we had to rely on each other, which we work well together, so it wasn't a major deal.
Right.
But then again, we didn't have any major fires. So we got together kind of some pre-planning on that. The interesting part for me was we sat there and talked about the Bastrop fires, talked about the PK fires, talked about some of the other fires in Texas and what happened, why they happened, some things that happened that were very positive as far as an example, I'll use in Bastrop, the fire chief was on scene when that fire broke out, and very shortly, within a half hour to 45 minutes, he realized it was a no-win situation for them. They were not going to stop this fire. He took it upon himself to evacuate 4,000 to 5,000 people. He saved lives.
Yeah.
Bottom line is he saved lives. Their home, some of those homes burned up, all stuff, that's one thing, but everybody was safe on it. The couple fatalities they had were people that went back in that shouldn't have been there. So it was one of those things that, the decision he made a big difference.
Right.
So we kind of talked about, don't be scared to make those type of decisions and be proactive in it. And then the other part that was really interesting is we started talking about the weather pattern.
Right.
And last year we were in the, you've heard of El Nino and La Nina, and El Nino is it's really wet, and La Nina is it's not wet enough. And last year we were in a really extended La Nina, still going on now, but they're seeing signs of it breaking up.
That's good.
We're not going to get into the El Nino and get tons of rain, but kind of what they told us is we're not going to have the summer that we had last year where it's over 100 degrees for an extended period of time.
Right.
We're not going to have a lot of rain either. Where we're going to kind of be at is what we're seeing now. We've got a very early spring. It's probably going to stay extended through a little bit longer into the summer. Harley.
Yeah, it's like who's riding a motorcycle? I don't know anybody that's riding a motorcycle.
So yeah, because of that, it's going to kind of run just instead of having a real intense fire season like we did last year where it's really hot, it's really dry and all stuff, we're not going to have that, but what we're going to have is a longer fire season because the stuff that's not supposed to be growing for a month or two is already in full growth. I mean, the trees are blooming, all that stuff.
I know. We have 2 fruit trees out back, and I looked out the other day and I see these big old flowers on them. I was like, it's time already?
Yeah, exactly. And so that's what kind of their forecasting is. We shouldn't have as bad a season as we did last year as far as the intensity of it.
Right.
But we're going to have a longer fire season, which, both have their drawbacks and both have their positives. I mean, sometimes it's easier to get a real intense and get it done and over with, but then have an extended one. If we start getting a lot of small fires statewide, we can burn the same acreage as we did last year with having the few major fires. So we're just kind of playing it by ear, and the good news is things are green right now, and the winds, we haven't had the winds real bad. We've had a couple 30, 35 mile an hour days, but we haven't had those 50, 60 mile an hour winds pushing this year. So and fortunately we're not up in Illinois, Missouri, Kansas where they're having all the tornadoes either. So So we won't get a chance. You think we won't get a chance this year to break that 100-degree day Lord,
weather?
No, I hope not.
No. We were so close last summer. So close.
I know. That was the way I felt with it. Is if we're going to go that far, I want a record.
Yeah.
Hey, I've suffered through this.
You suffer a few more days. It's
exactly.
okay.
That's what they're saying is they're looking at the weather pattern and what it is that's out in the Pacific Ocean, what's going on out there, and what they're looking at right now is the La Nina is starting to break down. Now we've had that happen before where it started to break down and then it came back, but right now it's on the right path. So hopefully, like I said, we'll have an enjoyable summer. We won't have the oh my God, it's hot.
Yeah, I don't want to go outside. I'm gonna stay inside all day.
Yeah, the $700 electric bills because your AC hasn't shut off in 6 months. So,
definitely. Yeah. Well, you got anything else going on?
No, it's just day-to-day stuff.
Awesome.
Actually, just thought of it. March is American Red Cross Month, And they do it every year. American Red Cross is a really big part of what we do. Not only do they come out, and when we have some of these big fires and all that, come out and support us and provide the canteens and stuff like that. On a day-to-day operation, they do great things with just being able to notify families overseas if you've got an emergency. Their support of the military, all that stuff's great. But one of the things we use them on a day-to-day basis is when we have these structure fires and a family's displaced, Red Cross is called out. They come out and provide usually housing for a few days, make sure they've got the necessities, housing, food and clothing, and then get them plugged into the other support, Mission Granbury and the other groups like that, get them plugged into that. But March is American Red Cross Month.
Awesome.
And I'm going to be going to the commissioners and the judge and ask for a proclamation for it. And so we'll be doing that. But support the American Red Cross. I mean, they're a great group of people. They, trust me, there's been many mornings at 3 a.m. I'm out on scene with a family that's been displaced. And the American Red Cross, and they're doing everything they can to take care of these people. And they're very, very great, and they're all volunteers. So if you got time too, they can always use more volunteers.
Awesome. Cool. Well, we'll definitely have to look into that. And
I'll get you a copy of the proclamation.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Well, we appreciate you coming in, and we look forward to talking to you next week, I guess.
We'll see you next week.